G'day and welcome to Evention. Today we're going to talk about the technique of icing. Now icing is a great tool that we can use post-strenuous exercise on our horses, like cross-country or fitness work, and it's a great way of removing inflammation and helping combat potential injury. Let's take a look at it in a couple different applications. Alright, so once you've got your horse in the wash store and you're ready to start icing, first thing you're going to notice you're going to need some kind of container or ice boot to hold the water and ice. You can go the cheap option and just get yourself a bucket like this, and this is really good if you just want to maybe ice the foot, but do note eventually the bottoms of these are probably going to crack and then you've just got a big empty container that won't hold any water. If that is an option, then you're looking at these kind of ice boots if you want to do the entire leg. This is just one example. As you can see, this is actually with some kind of pump, and we just taped over the extra holes, but they're rubber, they're kind of shaped to the horse's leg. Some of them even have a little strap here that you can attach a surcingle to so the horse can't tip them over. But these are really effective when you want to start actually icing the entire leg. All right, let's head to a Schramm shout out. Today's shout out goes to SaveTheHorses.org, located in Georgia. This charity was created to address the urgent need for rescue services as well as equine public education. Congratulations guys, the folks over at Riding Warehouse are prepared to give you a $100 gift card. Check them out here and take a look at their wish list and see if you can help them out. All right, back to the action. Welcome back guys. So if you don't have any ice or ice boots on hand, you can always just cold hose your horse's legs. But if you want a more effective way of getting rid of inflammation, icing's the way to go. So my first tip is don't put any ice in the actual boot before you go to put the horse's foot in it, because you don't want the horse standing on the ice on a funny angle. Now, it takes a little bit of finagling to get the boot straight without them standing on it. So pick up your horse's leg. I find what's easiest is if you get the boot, put it a little bit behind them and tilt it forward. And then when you put you kind of got to place the horse's leg down in it slowly and get their toe in. And then as they go to put it down, then kind of bring it forward. Perfect. All right, so he's standing on it pretty straight. That's ready to go. Now what we're going to do is fill the boot about 1/3 of the way full. Now, just be careful when you go to do this. I'm doing it with a bucket. You can do it with a hose. Once it gets cold, they might start wriggling around a little bit. Bo's a seasoned veteran, so he knows what's coming. He probably likes it. Then the next thing is to add a little ice in there. Now, bear in mind if your horse's legs are clipped, and especially if they're clipped really short, you don't want to put too much ice in there. You don't want to burn their skin, because we're going to leave them in here for a little while. If you're worried about an area like that might do that, you can always put a bit of Vaseline on it to stop that from happening. So there we go, I've topped it right up. Spread the ice around, and Bob's your uncle, where he's on ice. So I'll do that in both boots, and I'm going to start my stopwatch. I'm going to leave him in there no longer than about 20 minutes. Now when 20 minutes is up, I'm going to take him out, I'm going to give him another 20 minutes for his legs to warm up again, and then I can do him another time as well. So make sure it's 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off. That tends to be one of the most effective time frames for icing. Now, if you want to get to some point that's a little bit more specific, like around a joint, another thing you can do, if you get anything that's kind of like a sleeve or a sock with the end chopped off, or it's got an opening in both ends, you can fold it kind of on itself. Where's my ice? Stuff a little ice in there, in the outsides of it. It's going to be a bit rough and jagged right now. Oh, let me do this. A couple more. You're going to get the idea. And then what we're going to do is put on the ground, smash it up so it's nice and mushy, like for a cocktail. Now, I don't have a hammer with me, so I'm going to go Neanderthal, but that's all right. I'm going to smash it up nice and smooth. And then basically what you've got is a little tube with ice around the outside that you can kind of mold to the horse's joint. So if we took the boots off put this up over his knee and did that all the way around, it would be a good way of icing just his knee if your boots didn't get quite high enough. And that's another great way of getting rid of that inflammation in a joint. All right, guys, hopefully you picked up some tips on how to use icing to take better care of your horse. Thanks for tuning in and see you next week.